Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig, this is Matt. It's Tuesday, it's Magic TV. He's cleaning his nails. He was on the bike yesterday, apparently.
I was on my bike all day. I've got dirty nails.
And he was a dirty little grease monkey.
I like being a dirty little grease monkey.
So now he's just sitting there, picking dirt out of his nails when we should be talking to you. It's rude.
I'm not talking to them. You're talking to them.
Yeah, but
you're doing your massively overly long intros.
That's not a massively overly long intro. We're going to try something a little bit. We're going to be trying something a little bit different this week.
Fall to sleep. What do you mean we're doing something different?
We're not doing a Matt test.
What?
We're not doing a Craig test. There's no testing involved this week.
What are we doing?
Well, we're not doing a trick.
Isn't this a magic show?
Yes. Well, it's not a magic
show.
show.
So we're a magic show where the Craig or Matt test is always on a Tuesday. And we're not doing a Craig test, we're not doing a Matt test, and we're not even doing magic.
No. What I thought is...
What are we doing?
I'll tell you. He doesn't know. Right. Over and over again, we get the same question on this channel, which is, do you have any advice for approaching people in a gigging situation? There's a lot of new people that watch Magic TV, and they've never really performed professionally, and they want to start performing professionally. And one of the hardest things to do at a professional close-up gig is the introduction, going up to a group of people. Because think about it for a minute, and I had this conversation with you when you first started. You've got to go up to a group of strangers that are chatting to each other about something. You've got to interrupt them and show them something that they might not even want to see. Yep. Make it entertaining and engaging, and then you've got to do that again and again and again. And that's the thing that a lot of people worry about. A lot of newer magicians that are getting into gigging for the first time, they'll spend hours thinking about transitions, and I'm going to do this trick, and then I'm going to go into this trick. They'll spend days practicing their sleights. They'll have the biggest repertoire. Their pockets will be filled full of magic. But the simple thing that really fucks a lot of them up is going to that gig for the first time and walking up to a group of people and interrupting them and getting them to engage with you to a point that they find it entertaining. It's a difficult thing to do. Now, the reason you're involved in this conversation is because, let's be honest, you've only been doing magic now for about 1.5 years.
What month is it?
Exactly. When you're still counting how long you've been doing in magic in months.
Yeah.
Right. So but one thing that really struck me right from the very...
What is it? Oh, it's April.
It's April.
Right. Carry on.
One thing that struck me right from the very first gig that I took you to, and I think the first actual gig that I took you to, and it wasn't a gig, it was Smoke and Mirrors.
Smoke and Mirrors.
And
I've been doing magic for like 3 weeks at that point.
Yeah. And it was around Christmas time.
At least only months, not weeks now.
There you go. When I took you to Smoke and Mirrors, it was around Christmas time. All the Christmas party people were in there. It was a very busy, loud environment.
Everyone was drunk.
You'd only been doing magic for 3 weeks. And one struck me as...
You made me go up to a table of people that didn't even like magic.
Yes.
They shouldn't have even been there.
Yes.
Why were they in a magic bar?
I have no idea. But
Go speak to them. They look friendly.
Well, I knew they weren't.
Don't even like magic. Brilliant. Thanks.
But you were very good at approaching people right from the first second. That was something. It's something that a lot of magicians worry about. I've been to gigs with people, and the first gig that they've gone to, I've taken them out to their first gig, and they're just like, you can see them almost having palpitations. Like, right now I've got to walk up to that. And you see even people that have been doing it for a while, and there's big tables, and they're just like walking around, and they know they've got to go up to the table, but they keep putting it off, and it just looks really unprofessional. It's the thing that's really difficult to master, and you nailed it out the park. And I think that part of the reason is your experience in performing, but also your experience as a salesperson. Because you're very good at sales, you're very good at selling yourself, and the whole idea of walking up to a group of people is having that ability to sell yourself to a group of random strangers. So I thought what would be far more beneficial than you showing me a trick and me showing you a trick and me
fooling you again.
Never happens. Ever happens. Gets a bit.
It's going to.
It's
going to happen.
You keep trying that, Chuckles.
It's going to happen.
But I thought we'd take a week off from that shit. We can get back to that next week.
That shit?
Yes. We'll get back to that.
That shit's been holding this channel up for like 2 years.
It's very true. It's very true. It's very true. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, you're all right. But I thought we'd take a break from that crap. And what we'd do instead is we'd have a discussion about approaching people from your point of view as a very experienced salesperson, a very experienced performer, a very inexperienced magician. My experience as a living legend in magic who's just fucking amazing at everything. I thought between the two...
Nem's here?
No, he's not. He's probably playing VR.
Oh, you're talking about yourself?
Yes.
Oh, right. You're talking about Nem.
I thought that we could have a discussion, and hopefully that would, be beneficial for the people that are sitting at home. Maybe they've got that gig coming up and they're worried about approaching that group of people, or maybe they've got a gig coming up and they're not even thought about this, and this is something that they should think about because it is genuinely one of the most important.
Definitely something you should think about. If you haven't gigged before and you're about to, that is definitely something you should think about.
Yeah, so let's have the conversation. Let's have the chat.
Okay.
And I want to get your thoughts on it, and I'll chip in as well.
Don't do it. It's terrifying.
Okay. Thanks very much for joining us this week on Magic TV. We'll be back next week with more sage advice.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
From Matt Cluley. Yeah, in all seriousness,
It's fucking terrifying.
Huh?
It's terrifying.
Is it?
Yes.
Now, you see, the thing is, I've been doing this for 30 years. Yeah. And I don't remember being... I'm sure I was when I first started.
Like, you were.
But
you would have been.
You've been to enough gigs with me where I've just it doesn't faze me anymore. Ever.
I mean, I do it. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm okay now. I've always been okay. Like you said, from the first time I had to do it, walking up to people and talking to them isn't my issue. But it is scary. Like, when you walk into, like, a corporate function and there's, like, 30-odd tables with, like, 15 people on each table, and you have to just pick a table, and you just kind of stand there for a few seconds, and you're like, oh, shit, where do I even start? Like, there's so many people in here. What do I do? Where do I start? You're never going to pick a friendly face out because no one's paying attention to you. Nobody knows that you're a magician at that point. No one even knows you in the building. You're just some random guy standing in a corner staring at everybody. And you just have to kind of go, right, that one, let's go there. You just pick a table and go for it. And the longer that you stand there, because I've done it a couple of times. Like, I know Smoke and Mirrors, I was like, but I had you there and Nem there as backup, and, like, do you know what I mean? I had a fucking cavalry with me if I needed it. Going out to close-up gigs on your own is a completely different ball game again to even doing close-up gigs with somebody you know. So, just walking up, when I've walked into gigs on my own, and there's been, like, fucking dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people sitting there, you just kind of stand there for a few seconds and you have to just make the decision of let's go to that table and just go, because the longer you stand there, the harder it is to walk up to that first table.
Okay, so here's a question then. Coping with nerves, because it is terrifying, like you said.
It is.
And it becomes less terrifying as you go on. But it is a scary thing going up to a group of strangers. Before we even talk about the approach and what you should do and what you should say, do you have any advice on coping with those nerves? And just because if you're not careful, you can be paralyzed with fear.
Yeah, it's very easy to get paralyzed with fear in that kind of circumstance, definitely. So you need to be able to, you just need to know what you're doing. So the way that I did it was just to practice everything that I was going to do till it was second nature, and then have all the muscle memory in place, practice what you're going to say, because people practice tricks and get the methods down, and they're sitting at home and they'll practice the tricks and they'll get the method or whatever it is that you're going to do, and you've got that perfectly. But unless you can do that while talking, while performing, it's not like
that's actually
a really different ballgame.
That's a really good point. A lot of people think about their set list that they're doing in a walk-around situation, and they'll say, okay, I'm going to open with this trick. And it's like, right, okay, so the opener is going to be, hey, I'm going to make this deck of cards appear out of thin air. But that's not the first thing that you say when you walk up to a group. That's not the first thing that you say. You have to rehearse what you're saying, because what you have to do when you go up to a group of people, whether it be a table or whether it be a group of people in a walk-around situation, is you have to very, very quickly establish who you are, stop the conversation, and let them know that you're going to be an interesting person to listen to. And that all happens before you do your first trick.
Yeah.
So when you say you rehearse, did you rehearse your opening line? Did you kind of think through? So what is your opening line? And does it vary from walk around to tables? Like my opening line in walk around is, hey, sorry to bother you, I'm not as dodgy as I look, which is a really funny, you've heard me say that. It's a really funny line for me to say because tattoo, shaved head, I do look dodgy. And I know that when I walk up to people, they're going to be like, fucking hell, the bouncer's here. Like, it's just so...
Black suit.
Yeah, exactly. So I just go, hey, No, I'm not as dodgy as I look, but you know what? That was a line that I used when I did door-to-door sales. I would knock on the door, and somebody would answer. I'd go, "Hey, sorry to bother you. My name's Craig. I'm not as dodgy as I look," and it broke the ice immediately on the door.
Yeah.
And when I started doing magic, I just applied it. I was like, "Well, that works in that scenario. This is a very similar thing. It's probably going to work in this scenario." My opener we'll talk about tables in a minute. My opener when I do Walkaround is, "Hey, I'm not as dodgy as I look. My name's Craig. I'm the magician here. I've been asked to come along and perform a couple of tricks for you. You look very excited about that, sir. Look at you. You look so happy." Anyway, does anyone know what one of these is? And I'm literally into it. But if you actually break down what I've done there, "Hey, I'm not as dodgy as I look," that always gets people to laugh because, like I say, I do look dodgy. I'm not as dodgy as I look. And I say, "I've been asked to come and perform magic for you guys." The reason I say I've been asked, and sometimes I'll extend that, and if it's a corporate gig, I'll say I'll get the managing director's name. You know, Sarah Petty has asked me to come along and do magic for you today. Or if it's a wedding, the bride and groom, John and Tracy have asked me to come along and do magic for you today. Because then it's very difficult for them to say no. What you don't want to do, no, it's not, because it's kind of like, because it's like, well, hang on a minute. If you're at a corporate event, "Oh my God, the MD's got this guy coming around. I better turn around and say yes because my boss has hired him." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to, "Hi, my name's Craig. Would you like to see a trick?" And you know as well as me, when it comes to sales, if you go, "Would you like to book?" in a very timid way, they're never going to book. You have to be assumptive. You have to kind of assume that that person that's on the end of the phone or that person that's on the other side of the door, you have to assume that they're going to want to book or buy whatever it is that you're selling, because that's how you make sales, right? By being assumptive and being not forcing yourself onto somebody, but being assumptive. So, "Hey, my name's Craig. Not as dodgy as I look. I've been asked by by the MD to come along and do some magic for you guys." And then I just point to somebody at random, anybody, and I just go, "You look very excited about this," which again is a funny thing. I'm interacting with one person. "You look very excited about this." Anyway, let me show you something. In like literally 5 or 6 seconds, I've explained who I am. I've explained what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I've broken the ice to a point that hopefully they're going to listen to me then. And I think there is that crossover from sales to approaching a group of people.
Yeah, of course. Everything to do with
go
any kind of performance is you can use. If you haven't got a sales background, though, you can do anything that any salesman does and just practice what you're going to say first. So if you've got it in your head, the last thing you want to do at any point is go, if you say, you've lost your audience immediately because they know that you don't really know what you're doing because you've just said, And nobody that knows what they're doing and is confident doing what they're doing says, ever.
Very good point.
So if you know what you're going to say and you can articulate that well and adapt to what people are saying to you, don't want to just walk up to a table of people and reel off this spiel that you've just had in your head. If somebody interacts with you, you have to have the foresight in order to be able to stop and then interact with that person. Because the whole point of you saying what you're going to say when you walk up to a table is to open an interaction, is to open dialogue with the people that are at that table and get their attention. If somebody starts interacting with you, it's worked. You then don't need to carry on with the thing that you had practiced in your head because what you went there to do has been successful.
Yeah.
If you don't have to get all the way to the end of your speech before somebody interacts with you, it's worked better than you planned it was going to.
Yeah, how many times have you gone up to a gig, gone up to a group and you go, "Hi," and they go, "Oh my God, are you a magician?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done. There's no point carrying on there, and there's no point, "Hi, my name's Matt, I'm blah, blah, blah." If somebody goes, "Oh crap, are you the magician?" You go, "Yes, I am. Do you want to see something cool?"
Yeah.
And they'll go, "Yep," and then you're in it. And then you can scrap everything that you just pre-planned because you don't need to do it with that table. It's only there as an in if you need it to be.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to adapt to whatever's happening around you. And that's the trick, is being able to listen to what people are saying and then respond accordingly.
Yeah, I agree. And inject your own personality into it.
Yeah, just be yourself.
Exactly. You know, like me, the whole...
Or whatever character you're playing.
Hey, I'm not as dodgy as I look. That works for me.
If you are dodgy.
Yeah, I'm very dodgy. It wouldn't work for somebody else. You know, you don't want to copy someone's lines ad infinitum.
Yeah.
And also, just because something worked, like I got into magic in the mid-90s, and the advice that was given to all magicians in the mid-90s, genuinely, This is the opener that most people used, at least a lot of people used in the mid-90s. Bearing in mind, close-up was a new thing back then, in terms of going to gigs and doing close-up. So have you ever seen the colour-changing pen knives, where you go, hey, I've got this blue knife, and look, I can change it into a red knife, that sort of thing, a little panel move. This was genuinely the opener that a lot of people used. You have one of those colour-changing pen knives in palm, and you walk up to a group of people, and you go, hello, oh, has anybody dropped this red pen knife? No? What about this blue pen knife? And then you're into it. That was literally the way in that a lot of people used. Genuinely.
Well, I'm glad it's evolved.
I'm glad it's evolved, yeah. But what I mean, so don't take advice unless you think it applies to you. But sometimes, if you do want to have that magical approach, look for a way to do that. And what I mean by that, and it doesn't fit me, I never do it this way, but Gary Jones, incredible magician.
Yeah.
He brought out a thing many years ago that was a notepad that turned into a deck of cards. And his opener was walking up to a group of people in a restaurant and going, hi, my name's Gary. And he's holding this up. My name's Gary. What is it you want for drink? Oh, I'll have a beer. And he goes to write down beer, and he goes, oh, by the way, I'm actually the magician. And he turns it into a deck of cards.
That's
and he
cool.
goes, boom,
yeah.
I'm a magician. Would you like to pick a card? And
it's unexpected.
It's unexpected. It's a better way to kind of approach that if you want to kind of be an in-your-face type situation. One of the best openers, I'd love to know your opinion on this. Simon Lovell. Have you ever seen Simon Lovell?
No.
Okay, so you should do, because he's hilarious. Simon Lovell, one of the greatest comedy magicians of all time. I remember seeing him lecture in the mid-90s. And he talked about his opener, and he said that his opener is, hey, we're running a competition here at XYZ event, and I think you might have won. And he does this whole thing, and he says, yes, you have won. Congratulations, you've won. Or he's got 2 envelopes or something. I can't remember exactly, but he's like, hey, we're having a competition. Do me a favour, pick an envelope. And they pick an envelope, and it says, one says like £1 million or something, and the other one says 2 free card tricks before dinner. And he goes, there you go, you've won 2 free card tricks before dinner. Congratulations. Luckily, I'm Simon, I'm the magician. And he said that what it does, the most important thing from his point of view, is that he wants them to understand that he's not going to be there too long. Because one of the big things that people worry about when you approach them is, oh my God, is this going to be going on for like half an hour? How long am I going to have to watch this? So by saying you get 2 free card tricks before dinner, they know that you're only going to be there showing them 2 tricks.
Yeah.
And that was his approach towards that, which I think is really...
Some people want you to be there for a long time.
Mm.
I've been at tables when they're just like, please don't go. Mainly because they don't want to speak to the other people that are around them at the table, I'm guessing. But there's loads of tables that are just like, they want you, and you have to like physically get away from them in order to be able to complete the gig, because you've got to see everybody before you leave. But yeah, I suppose there are tables that you walk, and that's another thing, you've got to be able to know when to walk away. There were tables that I've walked up to, said my opening bit at the start, and then some guys just gone, oh. It's like, you're right, mate. He's like, yeah, I just don't like magicians. I had this one lady who did exactly that. I just remember her till the day I die. She must have been mid-60s. She had a red dress on, beautiful, like sequiny, sparkly red dress on, blonde hair all done nice, makeup all done nice, really well-to-do lady. And I walked up to the table. They were in the corner of the room at a corporate function. I think she was like high up in the company. And I walked over, introduced myself, and as soon as I said the word magician, she just went, oh, and just sat back on a chair like that. And I went, you all right? And she was just like, yeah, so it's nothing against you personally. I'm sure you're lovely. But like, we see so many magicians at these things. And like, I'm just bored of them. And there's 2 options at that point in that. You just go, okay, no worries, sorry to bother you, or you walk away, and walk away. But I just looked her dead in her eye and I went, challenge accepted. And she went, what? I went, I'm going to impress you now. And she went, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not leaving this table until I got a round of applause from you. And she was like, really? And I went, absolutely, watch this. And just did what I did. And she got up. After 10 minutes of being at the table, she got up, walked around the table, hugged me, gave me a kiss on the cheek, and went, thank you, you've just restored my faith in magic. Walked back round to a table, sat down, the whole table gave me a round of applause, and I fucked off. It was brilliant. It was one of the best things I've ever done at a corporate gig. It was amazing. Because she just went, oh. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I do stuff different to, you know, a lot of people out there, and the way that I sell it is different to most people. So fuck it, you're gonna like this. And that was, my head just went, yeah, you having it, and just it was brilliant. It was really, really cool.
I mean, is that how you deal with it all the time? Because when you gig enough, you are going to get a twat. You are going to get that guy that just sits there, and you're going to get that person that just. I had it once with this woman that just. She's just completely black. She pretended that I wasn't on the table. Hey, my name's Craig. I'm the magician. How you doing? Blah 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 blah. Do the whole thing, and it's just like she literally turned her back and just started playing on her phone. And it's kind of like, how do you approach that situation? I know how I approach it. But how would you approach that situation? Do you challenge them sometimes?
Lady I knew, she kind of, because she went, oh, like that, and that was genuine. And then I went, are you okay? And then as she looked at me, she kind of, when we were interacting, she kind of had a bit of a wry smile on her face. So I knew that I could probably get away with being a bit cheeky. I could probably you just know how to read people, right?
Yeah.
So I read that lady and realised that I could probably get away with being a bit cheeky with that. There were other times I've walked up to tables where it's just been 4 people and I've said what I've said, and then the guy's just gone, nah. And I was like, huh? And there was the older guy in a suit, looked a bit scruffy, and he just went, no. And I went, no what? I haven't done anything yet. And he just went, no. And I was like, do you not like magic? And he was like, no. I was like, I just laughed. And I looked at the bloke next to him and I was just like, should I go? And he went, probably should. I was like, okay.
See,
I just left.
You do enough gigs, you're going to get a situation like that. You know what I like to do?
What do you want me to say?
You know what I like to do in that situation? I like to go to all of the tables that are in the vicinity of that person's table, and I put 180% in to make them scream. Huh?
Can't do that. It's not possible.
What do you mean?
You can't put 180% into it.
Whatever. I really work my arse off to get them screaming and cheering like, whoa, you're amazing, whoa! And I will do it to every single table anywhere near their table. And my goal is to get them to come over and go, can you come to see me, please?
And then you go, no. Fuck off, no.
No, fuck off.
Absolutely fucking not.
I'll come over to your table, but only if you get rid of that cunt.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's great if they then go, actually, can you come and show me some stuff? You know, and you go, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem.
But some people just don't like it. Not everybody likes everything. It's not possible for everybody to like everything. And if somebody really doesn't like magic or really doesn't want to see magic, some people are terrified of it. Especially when you tell them you're a mentalist. I have people that have literally just gone, no. And got up and fucked off. Because they don't want people inside their heads. It scares them. It freaks them out. I've had multiple times where I've been around a table of people and I've got, well, I'm not really a magician. I'm what they call a mentalist. So I do mind reading and implanting information in people's heads. And someone's just gone, no, and just fucked off. And I've gone, are they okay? And she's gone, yeah, she'll be fine. She just really gets scared about this kind of stuff. I was like, scared? She went, yeah, she doesn't like people messing with her head. I'm like, okay. And then she's gone onto the bar or sat on another table or something. As soon as I've left, I've watched her come back again.
You should have just said, don't worry, it's only in the electronic dice of the stack deck.
It's just my leg vibrating. Don't worry about it. There's nothing special about it at all. It's fine. But yeah, it freaks people out. And if people don't want to be freaked out, if people aren't in the mood to be scared or in the mood to have somebody rooting around at the back of their head, fair enough.
Okay.
Just let them go with it. Like, you can't force people. You can't be like, no, I've been paid to be here. This is my job. You will sit there. You will watch this magic and you will like it.
You will listen to every goddamn word I've got to say.
You can't do it, can you? If somebody really doesn't want you to be there, you just walk away from the table.
Well, here's a question.
And then when you go into the clients at the end of the night and go, oh, I've had a brilliant night. All your people are so lovely. It's been a really good crowd. And they go, oh, did everybody enjoy it? I said, well, there's one table that didn't really want to see anything. But other than that, everybody's been amazing. So you let the client know that there was one table that you didn't see. So if they get feedback from the other people at the table and they go, we didn't see magic, you go, well, you've already made the point that you've told them that table over there, there was a couple of people that really didn't want to see anything. So I kind of avoided that table. But other than that, everybody's had an amazing time.
Everyone's had a great time. They are twat badgers, but everyone,
But other than that, everyone's great.
So how do you deal with the alpha male? Have you had that situation?
Oh, fuck yeah, I love the alpha male.
You know, when you go up and he's trying to one-up you.
I love the alpha male.
Yeah, okay. So
the alpha male is the perfect spectator, if you know how to deal with it. The alpha male, the first time you get him, is really, really fucking scary. And the first 2 or 3 times you get the alpha male is really, really scary. But then when you put the alpha male in his place and you know how to do it, because the last thing that you want to do is you want to make the alpha male look like a fucking idiot. That is the point of it. You want to make them look like an idiot. But you don't want to do it in a way that pisses him off. Because at the end of the day, he's still the alpha male on that table or in that fucking room or whatever. So you don't want to like properly piss him off because you're just going to turn the whole room against yourself. So you've got to be able to beat the alpha male, but not destroy the alpha male unless he's really asking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that what you do?
Yeah.
Because I would imagine you just fucking wipe the floor with him regardless.
Yeah.
I don't. I will beat the alpha male, so I win every time, but I won't wipe the floor with them. To the point where my aim at the end of dealing with the alpha male is for him to get up, shout man, and go, fucking fair play, mate. That's what I want from the alpha male.
Okay.
The respect.
I want to make him cry.
You want to make them cry and go and sit in the corner shaking on the way over. I want them to stand up, shake my hand and go, fair play, mate. And so then I've got the respect of him and everybody else.
So how do you do that? What's your approach?
You kind of... What I'd like to do with the alpha male is make out like it's difficult to read him. If you make out like... If they've seen you do it to other people and you're getting it quite quick and then you just... Oh, do you play poker? Yeah, I do, yeah. Oh, you can tell. Do you know what I mean? Just that kind of, it makes it a little bit harder to get him than everybody else. You still win, you still get him, but you make him think at some point like you're not going to. Maybe even make like a really subtle mistake somewhere, and you have to, like if I'm doing the whole reading thing and counting up to 6 or whatever, I won't get it on the first go. I'll be like, no, I didn't get it. Do you play poker? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I thought so. I could tell. Do me a favour. Just hold your hand up like this for me. And then just do a couple of extra bits just to add in to the fact that you're trying really hard to get him. And then you still get him and you've still won. And it's still like, oh, but you made it difficult for me, mate. Do you know what I mean? And then he'll get up and he'll shake your hand. And everybody at the table will be like, fucking hell, we didn't think you were going to get him. You must be really good. So you've impressed everybody else. You've got the respect of this guy, but you haven't destroyed him in front of all of his peers. And that, to me, that is the best way of doing it.
Yeah, so you just dial up the special brand of bollocks.
Dial up the special brand of bollocks. Make him feel special. Make the table feel like I'm working for it. Get his respect. Get their respect. Still walk away looking like a god. You've still won, but you haven't turned this guy against you because there's a strong possibility he can make the rest of your night really difficult. That's how I do it. I know you don't.
And it works. You've seen it work.
I've seen you do it to a group of guys that have all been standing there together, drunk, and you've destroyed all of them. It's not my style. I prefer to still be the nice guy.
See, that's where I'm going wrong. This whole nice guy thing. Maybe I need to try it out one of these days.
Like, I want to walk out of that room having everybody like me, not walk out of that room having most people like me and a few people fucking hate me. Which is where we differ massively in our performance styles.
Yes, ever so slightly. But I think people people go to a comedy show, but hecklers will go there to heckle. They like the challenge of heckling and knowing. You go to a Jimmy Carr show, knowing that if you heckle him, he's going to open a can of whoop ass.
Yeah, but generally speaking with Jimmy Carr, he does, but he's got one-liners that he goes to that he will tear people down with, and he'll win, but he won't annihilate them.
Yeah, but I've had people, you've seen it on stage. I've had a bunch of hecklers as part of a show that we're doing together. I've completely, totally destroyed them, and afterwards they've come back and gone, that was fucking amazing. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, I think almost, if you're going to be that guy that's going to stand up and heckle a close-up magician for just walking up to their table, I think that they will give you respect if you then completely demolish them.
Yeah, but we've got very different styles of magic and very different styles of performance. If I was to do it, you can destroy somebody and it'd be hilarious.
Because also it's very self-effacing. When I destroy somebody, I'm also kind of taking the piss out of myself as well. I know, you know what I mean? You see that a lot of the time, a lot of the stuff that I do, I'm taking the piss out of me as well as the piss out of everyone else.
I can say that because I'm bald as well and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like... Mike's laughing. That's true. He says that all the time.
I've got so many bull jokes.
Yeah, but yeah, because what I'm doing is I don't tell jokes, so I'm not funny. I'm good at reacting to what people say and making people laugh, but I'm not I'm not funny. I don't tell jokes like you do. You know what I mean? I don't have one-liners and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything I do is responsive to what people are saying to me.
Yeah.
So if I was to try and destroy somebody in the way that you do it, it would come across way more aggressive, I think, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So I go the other, because of my style and how I am as a person and my personality and the fact that I'm not funny, I go the other way.
And I will say, for anybody that's watching this, you have to find your own style.
There's nobody watching this.
Yes, there is. Trust me, there is.
There's no one watching.
But you sound like Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. Lloyd says that one.
Yeah, all the time. But in all seriousness, people need to find their own way. People need to find their own performing styles. People need to find their own way of approaching people. Like I say, you've got a completely different way of dealing to the alpha male to me, but the way that I deal with it fits into my character. Yeah. When you see me performing on stage or you see me performing close-up, I am this kind of larger-than-life, taking the piss out of myself, taking the piss out of everyone else, and that's what people, you know, gravitate to with me. And
the way that I do it fits in with my style.
Exactly, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. You need to find your own style, and it needs to fit into what your character is.
Yes. You don't even have to have a character. But if you do have a character, you have to make sure that the way that you deal with specific situations fits in with that character. Because the most obvious thing in the world is if somebody drops out of character. Like being an actor, that's massively important. And part of doing this and walking up to a table of people is acting. You are acting. You're acting with, whether you're being yourself or you're being a character or whatever, I still look at it as, you know, that whether the stage is in front of 4,500 people in a theatre, or the stage is this tiny little gap in between two chairs at a cabaret style table. You know, that little area when you walk in between those two chairs and stand in front of a table, that's still a stage. That's your stage for that moment when you're performing. And you've just got to, if you drop out of character, if something throws you off and you drop out of character, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put on a character, you have to stay in that character and know how to stay in that character and how to get out of every situation that you could be in that character. Because if you drop out of character and you're playing a character but then drop out of it and all of a sudden become somebody else, whether that be yourself or whatever, you fucked it.
And the thing is, my character is just me with the volume turned up.
Yeah.
That's who my character is. You know me very well.
Your character is you, just, if you can believe this, slightly more dickish.
Well, no, you know, we had...
I know that's difficult to believe.
You know, I don't want to get into this, but somebody on the internet recently said that I was a liar because I play a character on Magic TV. But I do. I play a character on Magic TV. It's still me.
Yeah.
But it's me with the volume turned up. I don't go, you know, when you watch Magic TV, hey, my name's Craig, it's 9 o'clock, it's time for Magic. I don't walk in the office and go, hey, it's me, it's time to do sales today. Hey.
Sometimes you do.
Occasionally. But
he does sometimes, doesn't he?
only
Sometimes.
We know you're coming.
I beg your pardon.
When...
It was only that one time. It was in the warehouse. I didn't think anybody was listening. And we were
Is that
quick.
why the split press is all sticky?
It might be.
But yeah, nobody's like... You're right. You are you. You're just slightly dialed up on the internet.
Yes.
But you're still... You
But it's
still
the same
act
with-
like this.
But it's the same with me as a gig. I'm me with the volume turned up. It's me on stage. And on stage, I turn myself up to a 10. When I'm doing a close-up job, I turn myself up to a 7. When I'm
Everybody
doing
does that, though.
when I'm doing this Magic TV, I turn myself up to about a 5 or a 6, depending. If the rants, I used to turn myself up to a 20. But generally, you know, it's just me with the volume turned up.
Yeah, but nobody's like that. Like, when I'm at a table performing, you're projecting, you're over-exaggerating your movements, you're being happy and friendly and energetic, none of which I am when I'm not performing.
Like the sloth out of that film.
Exactly.
Zootropolis, yeah.
Most of the time, I just want to go home and go to fucking bed. So you'd have to be you're a performer. You're entertaining a room full of people. If I just walked up to a table and went, hi, my name is Matt, I'm a magician, I'm fucking knackered, I really don't want to be here. You want to see a trick?
I've got an electronic die.
Yeah, no one's going to go for it, are they? You have to be,
Yeah.
you have to sell yourself. It's the same as when I'm on the phone talking to people and I'm selling the company and selling the entertainers and selling the packages that we do, which are all absolutely amazing. But if I was to just be like, yeah, this package is really good. I think the kids are gonna have they're gonna have a great time. It's cheap as well for like the quality and stuff that you get. Everyone's gonna be like, right, okay, thanks, bye. Do you know what I mean?
No, but
Everything
again,
you're selling, you have to go upbeat.
and I think that's the point that I think that people need to understand. Bringing it back to what we said at the very beginning, approaching a table is a lot like sales. What do you do when you're sales? Tone of voice, tonality. If you walk up to a table and you go, "Hi, I'm Craig," like you say.
If we sat here like somebody that we won't mention, but someone that you've had controversy over the internet with lately and just spoke like this all the time, and blah, 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 no one will listen to us.
No, you've got to be upbeat. You really have. Entertaining.
Look like you want to be there.
Exactly.
Which most of the time I don't.
I know. All of the impulse factors that you
can't
use
see the
in
chains
sales,
around the table leg that are holding
they're there. They're there. Ooh. Hello. Okay,
Oh, shit.
we'll wrap this up. Give us 2 minutes. Oh, Sarah just came to the door and she was very angry. Did you see that face?
Not a good look.
You're not married
I'm
to
glad
her.
you're coming over.
Did you see the look on the face?
He's not happy. Did you see it?
Fucking hell. Oh,
Shit.
I think I
Cut
need-
this bit out of the video.
That's definitely not a good face. Right, okay. We're going to wrap this up now. One
You
quick...
can't say your wife hasn't got a good face.
That was not a good face.
It was not a good
That was
expression
not a good face.
on her face. There's nothing wrong with Sarah's face.
No, but the expression.
Sarah's face is great. It was the expression on her face.
She looked like she was about to spit fire, Matt. And now I'm going to have to go
It
home
was
with
the
her.
way that you said it. It's a shame Jack ain't here. We could have just sent him back with him and you could have stayed here.
One last thing, quickly, because obviously I have to go.
You do, you really do. Do you want me to finish this on my own? Because that's
Actually,
ridiculous.
I think I might want you to. Very quickly, when you're approaching a table, a big table, is there anything you do differently? One thing that I saw David Penn do, which I always thought was great, and I've always done this, is David Penn says when you walk up to a table, a lot of people are like the chairs are next to each other, and you want to get into the table so people can see you.
Yeah.
So one thing David, that I do at every single table is I go, "Hey, my name's Craig, I'm the magician," and I go, "Can you do me a favour? Can you move that way slightly? Can you move that way slightly?" That way everyone can see just like you can. And it's kind of like moving them to the side so that you can get closer to the table. But the reason is you're not being a dick. Move. You're moving so that everybody can see.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I think that
You have to clear yourself a stage.
Yes.
You need a stage in order to be able to perform. You can't perform without a stage. So you have to make yourself... Sometimes you have to make yourself a stage. But yeah, there's various different ways of doing it. Like I've walked up and sat on blokes' knees before. Just for a laugh. Oh yeah, I did it. I've done it at like corporate events and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Because there was a guy that I was performing to at the, you know, when you sometimes you walk in and they're all at the bar before they're seated.
Yes.
And there was a guy that I walked up to, I performed to like 5 or 6 people, and he was like this big masculine guy, bald hair, tattoos and stuff. And I was like, because I was gazing into his eyes, doing what I was doing, he was like, "Oh, I'm getting a little bit turned on," and like, do you know what I mean? Just being, because I was gazing into his eyes. He was joking. We were having a bit of banter with each other and stuff, and he was going, "I was getting really hot in here," and blah, 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 blah. So when I walked over to the table of 15 people that he was on, I kind of walked up and there was nowhere to sit, and I looked at him, I went, "Oh, mate." He went, "Oh, come here, sweetheart." So I just went over and sat on his leg. It was a way of getting in the table.
No, absolutely. Thanks for joining us this week. Magic TV. Next week we'll go through the guide of how to fondle spectators.
Yeah,
So
he was
that'll be,
massive. He'd have thrown me around like a ragdoll, man. He was huge. Big dude.
Wow, okay. Got nothing else to say about that. I genuinely, we have to wrap this up.
You too.
I really have
should
to
have
wrap
wrapped
this
that
up.
the instant you saw the expression on their face.
Every minute that it's carrying on is another minute that I'm getting emasculated. So here's the thing. We're going to be back again next Tuesday with another Matt or Craig test. But if you'd like to see...
and I've got something for next week.
Awesome. But if you would like to see more sort of discussions on various different things with me and Matt, we both come at things from a completely different viewpoint.
wants to see this shit.
Anybody who wants to see more, let us know in the description down, the comments down below, what you'd like us to discuss, and we will happily put another one of these videos together. I'm going to have to go as I'm going to be divorced. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Craig. He's Matt. You got to go back and sell. I've got to go back and find my balls and get them out of Sarah's purse. We'll be back again soon. Yeah.
They've been in there for a long time. Imagine how dusty those things are now.
Really fucking dusty. They got stopped being used the second that Theo was born. But I'll be back again very, very soon.
I think we broke Mike.
Mike's just, we fucked him. We'll be back again next week. Say bye. Come on, please, just say bye, because I've got to go.
No, this is hilarious. We could stay here for the rest of the afternoon.
She's going to divorce me.
It's not my problem.
Bye. I'm going. See you again.